I'm advancing, might seem like I'm stalling, but I'm upgrading my engine. Revving, put the pedal to the metal, and I'ma tell you just what I did. Was ignited, the fire inside of me burns brighter than the sun can. Can't see it 'cause it's blinding. Light so overwhelming it makes your senses numb like Novocaine. I ain't hiding, biding my time till it's time to spark a blaze, then you'll know just what I did. Remove the haze, I ain't stopping, I'm just getting started. Mistake me for being done when all I'm doing is pulsing. Ebb and flow like the tide, I come and go. Now you see me, now you don't. Next thing you know, I'll be on you like a hurricane. My great flood is coming, reshaping the landscape to something more captivating, invigorating, cleansing like a forest fire. Your knee jerk reaction is lacking, wondering who I think I am when I know I am. To be or not to be, that is the question. Gonna leave you guessing, weren't ready for me, and now I'm here to shine my light in the darkness. I have one life to live, so I'ma do it how I see fit. Sorry, I'm not sorry for knocking it out of the park with everything I spit. My work ain't just a new branch of science, it's a new plant. Watch it as it grows, casting shadows on the old ways, removing them from their source of energy till their decay is apparent and their appeal becomes abhorrent. Everything I say is relevant. Are you feeling it? Might seem like metaphors galore, but it's much more. Drawing parallels between disciplines, connecting the dots like I'm a kid again. I'm switching the gearbox. This will only take a moment. Your patience is appreciated till we get underway. Watch what you say. I'm a living legend and I ain't going away. White male American might have it all, but I also have nothing. If you think you're calling my bluffing, then you'll find my aces are full. I got the nuts and I need. I'm pushing all in, actions on you. What you gonna do? Read my poker face. I know the strength of what I'm holding. I recommend you get to folding. I'll rake it in and tip the dealer who dealt me this hand. What a life I was given, can't do nothing but honor it. I'll take it from here, found the truth and now I'm honing it. Boss in training, voicing my opinion, think I'm bossing, but I'm just saying. If you listen closely when I speak, you just might find I'm onto something you seek. Ain't reached it, but I'm on the way. Bulldozing the terrain with each step I take, building a highway. Catch my drift so you can ride in my draft. Clearing the path so you can follow my math. Calculated precision craft. Grandmaster, I'll be validated, insinuated, read between the lines and see how I evaluate it. Complicated, but only take a moment to see how simple I made it. Tune into my frequency so you can start feeling me. Resonate with my description of infinity. It's why I'll live in infamy. A straight shooter, peering through the octaves of eternity, peeking into the mind of the one and only, getting to know the most holy. Let me tell you my story. I questioned everything and embraced the unknown. Leapt into the depths as I was shown. Directed, I'm guided like a missile. I stand corrected. Truth confided in me like an apostle. Disciple of the Most High, I am the whistle. A man of logic trimming overgrown fields with my sickle. My blade sharper than a katana from experience's whetstone. Into the fire of years of struggling, hit with the blunt force of a life of hustling, reshaped by the countless impacts of my stumbling, put back into the fire for rinse and repeating, then quenched in a life that bears repeating. Wasn't always this way. Let me tell you my story. Listen to what I got to say. I ain't special, but I'm the one and only. think I'm a phony, but that's 'cause you don't know me. Articulate, it's why I'm the shit, so lit. I must admit, spitting image of the infinite. Legit misfit with a permit to emit for your benefit. You and me both, that's why I do it how I do it. Dedicated to growth, that's why I knew it how I knew it. Unspoken oath, that's why I went through it how I went through it. Transmit my retrofit and make out like a bandit. Under the pressure I've been, I've become crystalline. Precious stone, where do I begin? Climbed to the top of the mountain, I was balanced on a knife's edge. Centered, I was open to reception. That's when I got the message. And then I was off on my voyage to the edges of infinity, where I became a sage. Like a mage, I cast a spell on this age. Dispel the haze to bring brighter days. Don't rage, I'm just doing my part. Following my heart. Everything I do is an art. Took a shot in the dark, but I've got night vision. I'm driven to succeed in my mission. No brakes, I'm a runaway truck speeding down the mountain. Drink from my fountain and find youth everlasting. Whew. Whew. What's up, dudes? I had like a sip in there, and I spilled half of it. Fuck. Oh, I felt like doing that. I don't know. I wrote that a couple years ago. I haven't really thought about it until like a week ago in a while. Okay, so that was fun. Fun little deviation from the norm. Let's go ahead, though. I think I can play this. It's classical. I mean, as I've already thought. I would really like to play this. I mean, it's gotta be like a generally copyright free, although it may be, like, because it's many people playing it, it's maybe, I'm just gonna play it. Okay. Cool. Okay. Where were we? Yes, there we were. At this Ammonite Shaligram. So we got the Ammonite up here, though. We got this crack thing over here. Interestingly, like, between the Ammonite and this crack is this, like, string of, like, eroded bubbles, almost. Chambers looking things. And then out of the very tip is this protruding thing, which happens all the time. Let's see. What am I looking for? Cracks from spiral? Yeah, things of this nature. Out the, like, tips. Or out, it can happen out the very top, or out like a third and a third. Or out the tip. Out the tip. A sort of a tip, although it's a top. Tip, third, quarter, top, bottom, top, bottom, edge, third, bottom. Why exactly these are doing this is unclear completely, like in a complete clarity kind of sense. It just generally because of current flows, and that's where equilibriums are. But what that entails, what that, like, reveals, I'm not really sure completely, but it's going on here. Okay. So different angle, upside down now, same rock, same Shaligram. We kind of see some more like scratches in the rock. Or this one's got a sort of like a tip with a basically current going this way, and meeting at the far end and encouraging a protruding flow that way at times. Perhaps that's going on here. Okay. Some just odd shapes over here. That one especially. This one's sort of ammonite-like. Like it's got a part of an ammonite forming. But it doesn't really go all the way around. It almost has like a U shape. Like it's only half. I don't know why I would do that. It looks like it's running into resistance over here. Probably some kind of eddy was forming, but there was a boundary over here, and then current flows that pushed the eddy over this way. So it then took like a U shape where this current pushed in and went around there, like was caused to bend in relationship to this being compressed over here, probably something of that nature. Current flowing towards it and then bending off, and then probably going across this way and being lifted. Like instead of going straight this way, it gets lifted up. And so they're going opposite directions, interacting perhaps. Not sure why this would just stop there. Maybe it like ramps up and gets above the surface of the rock enough that it's not applying a pressure into the rock to etch it at that point. This one reminded me of, yeah, there it was, 363, this one. This is Tatfa Jewelry. These are all from Rudraksh Guru. This one is, I think it was 363. So it's got this. Very similar in that regard. Very similar. Not the same Shaligram, clearly. But it's very similar in that it has like a taller side and a slope side, and on the slope side it kind of has this thing wrapping around like there. Let's see what else we got on this one. Upside down. Seeing the top. Now this one connects fully, where this one doesn't actually conjoin and wraps around more to the edge, where this one doesn't make it all the way. So maybe that's related. Also, maybe it wraps towards there and in part fuels into the chakras that are there. Or no, that's not even a chakra. It's just like a start of a etching into it. It looks like maybe there was a exterior current that like had an eddy, but it and its boundary pushed into this Shaligram's boundary, and maybe it was related to these over here, but hard to say. Fracture there. Like if there's a fracture there and then suddenly down, this kind of suggests there's a current flow this way that would maybe be flowing here as well. So if there's a flow over this way that's inducing a flow there, this here, maybe it was inducing an eddy here as well by the tangential flows interacting there, but above the surface enough that it didn't actually create chakras in the surface, but was more of like water-based chakras maybe that are no longer visible. Okay, there's another one. This ammonite over here is very odd looking in general. This one also is a bit odd. A little like elongated tail. Like a thin tail looking thing to both of them. The current flows are really defined on here. Clearly going this way generally in this region, but across this way over here dominantly. And over that way, but wrapping around that way. Possibly, it looks like around this way as well. Could be some ammonite features in there also, like in the ones like this. Like a small one there, maybe. Unclear. Possibly one there. We might have talked about some of these. Like that might have some ammonite components. This is kind of the mass at the end that got compacted here, I guess. So maybe it has some dendritic features in there a little bit. Okay. Some chambers, some chambers. It's fucking. Whoa. Sliced. Little thing there, something going on there. Which maybe is contributing to this. The interaction that way. Now this looks like it's generally parallel to that. And then runs into like a hard boundary here. That was forming for some reason. Possibly relating to whatever's going on there. If that's like a drilling in current from the exterior, although it looks like it is caused. It looks too much in this flow to be anything but this flow related. Which wraps around through that one. That might. It's possible current went like two ways here and really like head-on collided and created like an up-down turbulence at that point in the rock that then drilled in here. I don't know. And an eddy. It didn't like it drilled in like an eddy. Maybe. I don't know. Okay. This one's interesting. It's got... That looks to me like an ammonite there. Like within this one's general boundary or top it, I guess. In a way where it looks like it's part of this system still. Like it shouldn't be there. As well as it looks kind of related to whatever's going on around it. Like in that region. Like if we go over here. So crack there. Going, so if we follow that crack, maybe it is related. And then there's another one here. Another one here that even kind of points towards it. Ish. I don't know why those would only induce that. Possibly because it's really being overwhelmed by what's inducing this one and just is able to create like an imprint there. A subtle thing in it all. I don't know. Lots of cool stuff to this one, but let's keep going. Nice crack there. That looks like it's got some teeth. Like these, but this way. Across it. To a degree. It's not so many as to be clear, but... And then some kind of chambers next to each other in like a plane cross section along that plane. So it's just like a long thing like this. Even though it's like a disc, it's like cut along a plane to then just be like a cross section of a disc. Okay, let me just... Alright, so this one, cool. This one, why are there teeth here? Teeth here, teeth here, teeth here. Like, we can see the boundary of this Shaligram. The ammonite is that boundary of the ammonite. Like, its actual shell goes here across this region. So within the ammonite shell are some teeth right here. Some below it, like too low, like they're down really low. I mean, sometimes they go outward, but this one's pretty flat up here, so if we just extend this over, it's a little out of place, that's all. I mean, it's feasibly related to this, where it like kind of goes down and around and over, but this one makes no sense. This one makes no sense. I don't know why these images got so small. I think I right-click saved image. That's probably why. It's like, oh, I'll just save it that way. Some teeth over here, though. Like, they're out of place, especially that one there. I would argue science cannot explain this. As we currently interpret things. This is inexplicable from a fossilization standpoint. Because they're not fossils, that's why. That's why it's inexplicable. They're not fossils. Another one, it's got some weird shapes over here. Versus this one. Like, this looks more uniform, symmetrical, repetitively similar shapes, sizes. Up here is not. Clearly some sort of imbalance going on up here that just created, like, larger teeth. Flat line over here. This thing over there. I don't know, just take a note. That's interesting. It almost looks like this one comes out from like there, and then this one comes out from behind it in a way where they're kind of like that to like a boundary at my hands above one another, but two like segments of pieces of an ammonite. Okay, so basically that's that one. We'll start here, this. Okay, fine, like... I mean, current flows can definitely do this type of thing. But what about this? So these are pretty interesting, but really what makes this one so incredible is what? Unlike any chakra I've seen in a Shaligram, really. Maybe tiny ones have similar stuff, but larger ones, not really. It's really got like a planet with a ring around it, like Saturn. At its like chakra points between it. And then if we look at this rock some more, at this Shaligram, there's a little chakra thing going on there, probably one there. Bunch of chakras. Here's chakras. This looks like maybe a chakra was trying to form there. Unclear, something chakra-esque. There, also there maybe is trying to form, but I don't see any chakras over there as well. But then that one, which we even see it on the wall itself, having that feature. That's probably it there. That's probably looking at from this angle right here. This there. This drill hole here. Another, like, chakras there. I guess this is the face we already looked at, just upside down. We can see current flows wrapping around there. We can see current flows going across this way. Just like go above this and to this pole, like almost like a belt that's being held by a hip. And then on the opposing side is another ridiculous chakra. Look at this. Smooth, perfect. Another chakra like the other one, but with as if it had a whole tower of them that only one remains. And we can really see the current flows here, going that way, going this way across there, above it. So perhaps going around it. Cross here, maybe. Not so much this way over here. I don't know why. But yeah, like maybe there are some fossils like it. Like let's say, let's go like this. I think I did this. I'm pretty sure it literally brought up like architecture. Maybe that's the wrong image to do. Let's go back to this one. Get a big enough image to make it a little more clear. It's a rock. Oh, we got some Shaligram images. Nice. Well, that's cool. Wow, they really got Shaligram images. It recognized it was a Shaligram. Even though there's none that really look like that. That's crazy. How did it even know? Maybe it identified a specific one. This one? I don't see it in the list though. Peruvian meteorite. Oh, that's not a Shaligram. It's like, huh? Oh, okay. I think I might have seen this one. Oh. It's kind of like an egg. Some. Well, it recognized it as Shaligram, that's good. It doesn't seem to be able to bring anything up that resembles this. Corvette, lower shift boot auto. Okay, something else. Hand-carved wooden mask. Audi intercooler or something. Okay. Point being, it's incredible. Both of those are on the same Shaligram. Okay, let's carry on. Possibly something interesting there. Hard to say what's going on exactly. So this one is interesting because we see an ammonite here. Ammonite. We see another ammonite here. We see another ammonite here. But what we also see is that this ammonite here, right, has a boundary over here. Like it's this part of this ammonite. It's not part of this ammonite that has a boundary over here. It's like over here, so it's related to this one, extending out this way. But this boundary doesn't go around this one. It then goes up and around this one. Why would fossils do that? There's no explanation. There's literally no explanation for why fossils would do that. Currents, again, like they can join, they connect in like series and parallel and things of that nature, like literally. And here it's like feeding from over here, and instead of going back into this system, it's actually whatever gets over here then like makes it over and feeds into this system, it seems, or vice versa, I guess. This one is kind of more towards the center, so maybe, even though it's not as well etched, because it's not as well etched, it probably didn't have as much energy to it as this one, but maybe, I don't know. And then there's this one, which is perhaps pointing generally to that chakras, the chakras there, like especially from right there, going over there. It's very hard to do this in a straight line to make it look like I'm not trying to like purposely cheat. I definitely have at times misplaced these angles and be like, oh, those aren't actually the angle that I moused them over and thought of them as. So there's some more chakras there. Definitely lots of current flows etched in the surface. Chakras with a weird etched in the surface thing adjacent, almost as if it's like coming from it. Like there's a current flow in here that flowed out that way. Or I guess flowed in this way, but I would say flowed out. Some chakras that we may have seen before. I don't think so, though. Some interesting thing going on there. Like that would just be called a fossil. Probably fossil. I don't know what it... Some other than ammonite thing, even though like this is relatively ammonite-esque. Like over here kind of thing. Definitely has those characteristics, as well as kind of like a second lobe, like two chakras here even, maybe. Definitely whatever's going on over here was pushing this boundary. Like this would have wanted to form more upward, but it kind of went down this way. So it's truncated. Perhaps playing into why this didn't like stabilize into a eddy like that. That etched into the surface as much as it could have, perhaps. This looks generally to have gone around, across, and all sorts of patterns across this. Okay. Another one. This one. The very edge of this one looks generally centered on that one. as well as the boundary is like generally near maybe the top of this side. This chakra points up at this, maybe. What's going on there? This is chakra there. Chakra there. So maybe these three. This path has a relationship that angle. This has a relationship that angle. This has a relationship over here. In some way, hard to say at that angle, I guess. And then again, we have this extending outward and then wrapping around and even connecting. I would say connecting. Like right here, this little thing going on here is very standard in an ammonite, like how it goes underneath this side, above this side, up above, and it creates an actual space. Like that is part of this one, but that space physically flows into this one. So unequivocally, these are energetically connected in a way that doesn't actually make any damn sense. From a fossilization standpoint, also, they're energetically connected, not randomly, but at the very tip of this one's, the tip to like maybe the third on this side, like from here, like a third and then a third. This looks like the top, so maybe it's the bottom equivalent. It's just kind of weirdly shaped, I guess, due to this system forming. Maybe pushed up this boundary a bit, so it didn't go quite as over as it would have, making it maybe have more of a roundedness over here than it does. So it's like bent upward maybe. But for sure it makes no sense. It makes no sense fossilization wise. Only currents can explain it. Oh, there's even in that path I was drawing, there's even a hole like short-circuiting between this one and the very like tip of this one through underneath the surface though. Which perhaps like points back over here, even at this one. Right at the tip. Right at the tip, dudes. It's just not random. Right at the chakra, there's just something going on there. At the bottom and at the top, over on this side. At the tip, it extends outward, and then there's a sort of ammonite looking thing going on there. Something, like either a lobe or a spiral, or both. Some sort of intermediary thing trying to be one or the other. It's kind of trying to be one of these, but also trying to have like a shape more like this. Maybe, or like that one. Another image of the same Shaligram. Some little dashes there. Chakra, I think it looks like maybe a chakra right there. But then it has this around it. That's interesting. I wonder if this is kind of actually in line with those chakras. Then these things back here. Another one kind of off the tip, dashed line of the gold color particles. grains, whatever's in here, that got distributed by differentiation pretty much due to the current flow and moving different types of materials, so it moved them differently, and these got distributed in this case along here, and even noticeably like speckled through this, where it's not speckled through the rest of the rock. It's much more speckled here than elsewhere, showing it was just kind of good distributed through here, but moved to the boundary and deposited and left there, more so filling the crack, I guess. Probably because it got lodged in there by its larger particle size, while current flow was flowing through here, it had a high enough flow rate to remove the shale, so it differentiated better along the fracture line. But like, again, this is not your standard shape of the wavy teeth. Like, it's not symmetrical. And then over here, it's got these dashes that don't really make sense from a fossilization standpoint, but they make sense from a current pressure release standpoint, where it like only needs to release so much, but it flows throughout the whole region, so it kind of has like emission points along the path, like volcanoes erupting like in a channel where it erupts and then has a gap and then erupt and then erupt kind of thing. And then over here though, we got the gold material bends off kind of along the plane generally, like down the middle-ish, a little bit lower, where it even connects, like what is going on in this region. And then even has a gold speckle there, like off the tip there. It just can't be explained by fossilization. Just excuses. Another fracture off the boundary, or more so just erosion, and possibly this fracture relating to the structure of this in some way, and like being encouraged to happen. I don't know. Never had that thought really, where the structure of the dendrite region influences as it forms, as it gets shaped, is more able to like encourage this to happen. I don't know. I don't think that's necessarily a thing, but just a thought. Again, with this interior to this segment, more so than exterior. Also notice down here, there's an interesting little divot. This side also is similarly more other colors than the black shale. Again, we see a dashed aspect to it, where it has a like severance and then a connection, severance, connection, little severance, and then some like gold showing up in some variation in this region, showing like a continuation that was present, but not enough to etch it at all. So instead it just like removed the shale, I guess, without actually etching, removing all of the material. And then over here it removed like all the material in that stretch, but then again connected, removed some of the material, but not all. All of the material, some of the material, like pretty much none of, pretty much none of. Something going on back there. There's that slice. Whatcha? Also, it has a pretty interesting shape here, if you notice. There's like a intermediary hump. Like it actually isn't just like a single thing. It's like a W shape, looking straight at it from that. To a degree. hard to see. Can see it especially there. Kind of merges down here though, at around here. This divide stops existing. It's probably not very pronounced. This drop off here in the teeth, kind of, again, out the very tip. Like if this is here, out the tip is this, but then connected like across this whole region is this like a little bit more eroded segment of the surrounding of the rock. Suggestive current flow was kind of evacuating from here between the far boundary here. Like it wasn't really going up here. This region had a back pressure holding it, while current flowed this way and ran up it to it and out this way, and this just throughout like was the pressure was released this way enough where it created something of that nature, I would say. Also, we see like this continues further across here. Some more shots, some more shots. The bottom's got a little lobe there. Fairly certain that would be the bottom. That would probably be the bottom. This. It's almost like it flows down through the chakra in some instances, where then the downward pressure pushes outward and creates like a taller ring around it, where the center is not quite as compacted, so it got pushed out this way. And shale in the process got kind of separated out, so it became more the other materials here subtly compared to like completely, but like it doesn't look like this anymore. Here's one that has at the end, I think I already talked about this one, but spiral with a ammonite at the end, which I have a category of. Spiral at end of spiral. Spiral, which this one kind of ends here, but also has a chunk off its back sort of thing going on here that ends here, and then there's another one at its end. Spiral here, I mean, it's not quite the same, but it's over here. Like, also at this end is a drill point through the rock, one of those like columns through. And then this one, which has again the ammonite at the end. So I figured that's kind of interest for that reason. But notice as we like look at it from this angle, it really looks like an ammonite with another ammonite, and that's about what we're gonna get out of this one. There's some subtlety here maybe that we can see, and other things, but like in terms of just like analyzing the nuances, definitely the color within the rock distinguishes things. But let's go back here. That's interesting right there. Is this like thing above it that's kind of... But yeah, so we see here these things, and then here these things, and then over here this, like, whoa. That's when I was like, whoa. So we got that, these things also. Wow. This one goes through it, and then we got a tooth looking thing over here. Like maybe it goes up like that, I don't know. At least like started to. formed at a certain wavelength kind of thing. I thought that was pretty cool. This little stretch is a different color. It's kind of like the more shale remains than along the rest. Like it got compacted and remained more of a mound there. So it didn't have as much shale removed. Oopsie daisy. Okay, okay. My God. Okay, we got 16, 15 minutes of this left. This one's interesting because it kind of looks like this one just continues up into this one. Like they almost look continuous, but then it clearly is above it. So there's some kind of eddy up here that had a chakra above this chakra generally. That then the space between is was etched away. It actually looks like this chakra might be opposite to a chakra down here. Although this looks like its opposite would be more like here. I don't know. Another chakra over here. The nucleus type thing. Just ammonite features, tooth type things, dashes over there. This one also looks kind of like it has two. Whoa, it does. See, it's not angled together. Like I guess it could be kind of splitting like this. Splitting. But it really doesn't look like that. Splitting. I guess it does. It's just hard split into like this one branched off that way, and then like from around here over this way, and then from around here over this way, and then from here over this way, and then just continued that way, I guess. We gotta see another angle of that. Looks kind of like it went off the edge of the rock and had a divide in the way the current was behaving because of the edge of the rock. Because it formed at the edge of the rock, like the actual rock is relevant to the equation. It's not just like a broken piece of ammonite that's kind of bent and held in the, and then is gone after millions of years of fossilization that embedded its imprint there with this brokenness to it. And that chakra's so cool. Portion of one, like that looks almost like a current just went in, kind of there, but it created a lobe. Chakras across there. Sort of out maybe what is some type of balance point, energetically relevant point of the rock. Another one says top crack. This is the top. I think we saw one recently that looks very similar. I'm not gonna go back and find it. So this is pretty cool though. So that side where his finger is the next picture, this one. Cool features. These are from the videos. From these videos. This is cool because we can see the chambers of the material that's in here. Like there's material in here inside of the chakra system formed in the rock. Contained within it is this material, and this material has cross sections of chambers visible. Very cool. Just very cool. And kind of eroded at a slope inward. That's a little odd. A little odd for a fossilization process, I'm just saying. Just saying it's a little odd. What do you got? What's just time, erosion, coincidence. That's all we got. Why is coincidence so hard to believe? Clearly, it happened coincidentally. Okay, just lots of angles of that one. Just seeing the rest of the Shaligram. Kind of interesting shape here. Definitely some anomalies over here, but whatever. Possibly, like, this shape over here is very well formed. Over here maybe had some turbulence that led to whatever's going on in the ammonite itself. That also was contributing or related to what was going on with the teeth being not so continuously balanced. This one with this thing just going up to the top. Whoa. Also looks like there's some kind of connection right there into that actually connects. And then out the very tip, this channel forming that then goes up that way as well. Definitely can see that crack there. This looks kind of like a lobe right here. Like it could have formed a full-blown ammonite shape, but it didn't have the space, didn't have the current flow, didn't have quite the circumstances, so it just formed the boundaries of part of one and then evacuated the pressures this way, I guess. And over here, without actually eddying enough to etch into the surface, as well as what must have been like a pretty intense cross current, whichever way it was going here. It's probably wrapping around the rock itself too. Very cool. Whoa. Some teeth that are not really teeth, but teeth-like. Anomalous. This, I'd say, is anomalous right here. How it's very smooth and shale. Like, what? It doesn't really make sense for erosion to happen here without it happening here. Time, erosion, coincidence. Chakra's there, chakra there, along this. This one's pretty cool. Some teeth, other things. How are we doing on that time? Okay. 7 minutes. Another sort of lobe-like thing, but also again doing something weird, not really forming full-blown structure. This one's very cool. Okay. Unfortunately, this picture, I can't see that much, but there's chakras there. There's a stack, so we can definitely see there's 2 stacked. And then out of over here is this. Generally from like the bottom of this lobe side, this side of this system. So there was definitely a chakra in there. Chakra there. Some kind of thing going on here that looks relatively dendritic, like in a vacuum. If we only looked at this ammonite structure here, these would look kind of dendritic, like portions of the structure of the ammonite itself, but it really looks like where these chakras are, where the chakras down here are, where this like fracture is related to the like center point between where it's eroded and where it's retained its mass over here and not becoming eroded. Also, this goes down to that chakra, but this chakra maybe is related to like the equivalent here, but upward. Like doop, 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 doop. Some kind of like stairs energetically. Chakra, over down. Interesting stuff going on. Also above this chakra is what might have been trying to be another one. There's the stair. So the chakra, other chakra. Something parallel off the edge here. It's that way. And then this goes down to the very tip of this one. Right to the tip. It couldn't get more at the very tip of this one if it tried. Although maybe it could. So that connects from here through this one, through this to this one, all conjoined. Looks like this one also connects over that way back over to this to like create a full cycle between them of exchange. Full circuit, complete the circuit. Some chakra, some chakra, some chakra. I took so many pictures, but they're from the videos, so they're not as good quality. This one's interesting as we change the angle. In here it looked I would like to see this one. I don't believe that the image actually functioned. Like if I go to find that video. Okay. I was like, what's it look like? Which one was it? Whoa, this is the supernova one. Or one of the supernovas ones. Like a splitting star or a splitting nucleus. All the little bubbles. It's dividing. Oh my god, it's literally dividing. We can see the chakra going up into it, and this chakra down into it, and then it has this larger lobe, which are pretty much two particles dividing from one. Truly incredible. And just the ripples of energy that it's almost like heat waves coming off of this. Ah. But that was not the video. It's probably in the shorts again. I should just start with those. There's so many. No. It's crazy. So many of these I've looked at, but not the videos of them. Well, that's pretty big. There it is. Okay. No link. Those are the only ones that come up on their website with that name. But in here, the point is, in there it looks kind of odd. It looks kind of odd. Reminds me of the other one that's not the cell division one. More like this, but on a smaller scale and darker. Much subtler looking than this. This one is the nebula one. Looks like something's, like, here's the chakra, and then something's going on back there. It's so cool looking. Almost looks like an Einstein cross. Not to say that's how Einstein crosses function whatsoever, but okay. This is the last one, I believe. Possibly one more. Okay, we're on something else, so let me just pause that. Let's just hit play again. Nah, it's fine. I'll just pause that. Okay. So some teeth here, a little bubble like right above the chakras. Right above it. Energetically connected. And definitely this little bend, like a current flow running into resistance, so it bends. Then this ammonite type thing, generally out the tipish region is this, which connects over to this ammonite, and then something going off this way, directed towards what maybe was chakras there. This also has threadings all over the place, connecting like this one up to this, over that way. Who knows what's going on entirely? Lots of these little U-shaped terminal type things instead of the more ammonite looking shapes that tend to happen. There's some chakras in there, and that's very abnormal looking. It's got the chakras, but the rest of it doesn't really make sense from a fossilization standpoint. This is nice and smooth. Same rock. So this maybe connects over there. I'm not sure. Now this is this. So we're looking at this here. So this is actually this one. Which again has the ammonite and then a connection to this other thing going on nearby. And then connections across here. That looks like it has a tiny little ammonite forming there. Where this connection crosses this. And forms a eddy that forms that ammonite shape there. Something else going on next to it, but that one looks more ammonite-like. Also a polar current that's sort of like the Earth's polar vortex, how it has like a boundary to the rest of the Earth's air flows. It's kind of like a wall. Same is going on here, and at that wall it etches into the rock, the Shaligram, to create this like polar current etching, I would say. Something interesting to how straight that is and how that is. I don't know what to make of it. These are kind of in a line. And then this. Wonder if this whole width was behaving sort of like a portion of an ammonite spiral that couldn't cohesively form, but it created a mountain there a bit. I don't know. Just incredible. All these like weird. I would imagine trace fossils, but why is this trace fossil like generally parallel to this one over here? And it decides to avoid this, so it bends around this way. Even though, I mean, if it's a trace fossil, why would it even know that or care? Like, it doesn't make any damn sense. It's arbitrary, but it's gotta be intentional. Intentional burying of the truth. I'm like the dog that you guys throw the ball. Go get it! Fetch! I'm like, I got it! I got it! I got it! And then you're like, throw the ball again. I'm like, oh my god. Oh yeah, there's one more. This one looks kind of like a goat head or something. It's testicles. I don't. This angle looks more like maybe a goat head, like an eyeball. This angle maybe wasn't the best one to start out with, pardon me. But the pole here has got a wrapping current again, and as well as like a lower wrapping current around here. I didn't even notice. The other things this looks like, but what's really interesting about this one is the divide here. Here we can kind of see like an ammonite shape with dendrites even, which I guess goes around here, right? But then there's this here. As it approaches this, it's a little weird. This wraps around. Probably some nuance if I could see it in more detail. But this. So we can see here this ammonite shape is sloped at like this angle. I don't know. But if you look over here, like, it's really not sloped appropriately. Like, this is weird. It kind of folds over this way. Has a divide, but it still has distinct dendrites in here that are just like this, showing like it's one ammonite continuous. That was ammonite that's involved here, so it's not like it's a different system. So there's some system here that's also here, but it's not really in a plane as they tend to be. It's kind of bent, like something weird happened, like current flows can do. Like if there's a current flowing like next to each other and they get close, they'll like interact in ways where they can fold and bend. So it's like there's another ammonite here, I believe. I can't tell. None of these pictures show it. Like this one looks like it might have a second sort of ammonite happening. So it's two ammonites, two eddies adjacent in this sack here. Maybe this is Krishna's, pardon me, Krishna. Or wait, Vishnu. Pardon me, guys. Vishnu, not Krishna. These are Vishnu's body, said to be. So maybe that's, yeah. So that's that. Hope that was interesting. Hope, lots of things. Open up with a rap. I'm just like, I gotta mix it up somehow. It's just shaligrams. I'm like the alien guy, but I'm like shaligrams. Sorry, Giorgio. I know your name. The alien guy. I don't know his full name. It's Giorgio Sukak. Fuck. Sukalos? Sukalos, I believe. See what's up on Zero Edge. Oh, okay, that's lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay, everything is awesome, guys.